If you feel like your life is falling apart as you raise your vibration, you're not alone. It can be scary, but perhaps this is a breakthrough and not a breakdown. Hi, my name is Michelle. This is my husband Boyd, and welcome to our channel, The Freedom Habit. So today we're talking about some things that can happen as you're raising your vibration that might feel a little bit like a breakdown in your life. And the first thing is that, our old foundation really can't support our new identity. Everything, our jobs, our relationships, everything was built by our old identity. And sometimes we have to go in, it's kind of like rebuilding a house. You buy a new house that needs rebuilt, and sometimes you have to get rid of some of that old foundation and rebuild it. So it's kind of like that, really.
Yeah, we've been reacting and responding and living our lives based on a person who we thought we were, an identity that was planted in our minds
Right.
by other people and circumstances as children. And when we're changing that, it gets pretty tumultuous because your body, literally, your mind and your body are going like, what's going on here? Because you're so used to running off these programs, and
Right.
you're like, wow, like
Yeah.
what's going on, and you feel a little bit freaked out, and because it's unnatural,
Yeah.
it feels uncomfortable. So there's going to be a certain period, especially when you're resetting your amygdala, because our amygdala is traumatized when things happen to us, and we have to reset it and bring ourselves back to homeostasis, to a place of peace, and then kind of rebuild from that.
Yes. Which feels really unfamiliar to us.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we
Yeah.
haven't been like that for many, many years, some of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't step into this or have this realization about the law of attraction, the quantum realm, until I was 61. So, I mean, I got a lot of junk in my trunk. No, seriously, I got a lot of stuff, and I think I'm past it, and
Yes.
I do I make strides, and then something else comes up, and I'm like, wow, I thought I was already done dealing
Yeah.
with that, but it's like another particular thing that was involved with something, and you've got to kind of face that, or kind of live through that and feel those emotions. Once again, it doesn't have to take forever. And the longer you've been living like this, like for me, it had been like 50 some years. It's going to take longer than somebody who's 25 or 30 or
Right.
something.
Because it didn't just take a day for all that negative stuff to get into our mindset. It took years. So, I mean, granted, it's not going to take us years to reset our mindset because we're intentionally doing this now. We're aware of it. But yeah, it doesn't have to take. I think it just takes as long as it's up to you, really, how
Yeah.
intense, how much time you put into this, how much you want to change. It's
The subconscious mind, more than anything, is there to protect us, and it wants to be right.
yeah, yes, it
So it's
does.
always looking for reasons why, what, like I told you so, like it predicts things. Our subconscious mind predicts, oh, this isn't going to work out. That's not going to happen. And then it gives you evidence throughout your life. See, I told you. If you take a chance, it's going to fall through.
Yeah,
If you try to get into a better relationship or something, that ain't going to work out. You better just stay where you're at
yeah.
because it's safe. It's familiar. We know how to deal with this. And that's what it teaches us. And it's just a lie. It's nothing but a lie. The second thing that you'll notice when you're crossing the river of change is hidden energies will be revealed, like hidden agendas and things that you never noticed before. Like you could get along with somebody for years and years, and then when you start changing, it kind of rubs them the wrong way because you're not
Mm,
playing that same part in their life. And you'll start arguing with people or just their energy bothers you and your energy bothers them too because they don't know like who are you? Why are you acting this way? You never used to be
yeah,
like this. And it kind of freaks them out a little bit. So you might lose friendships. You might not be
yeah.
able to stay at that job that you've been at because you've been people pleasing and
That's what I was gonna say.
all that
Especially
stuff.
if you were in that dynamic. If you were the people pleaser, the constant, the person everyone went to talk to, and you would neutralize, and yeah, yes,
Yeah,
or sweep things under the rug, then yeah, you'll probably start to. Your energy will definitely start to aggravate their energy,
right.
and
And we start seeing with more clarity. So these, and and by saying toxic, I'm not saying the other person's toxic and you're perfect. I mean, quite frankly, we're toxic. Like it's a toxic relationship, a toxic work environment, and we just have the clarity to start recognizing that I don't really fit in here.
right,
I don't want to work here. I don't want to do this anymore. And when you start sensing those things too, before you quit your job, you might get fired. Sometimes it seems like the bottom's dropping out. Like, your girlfriend, your boyfriend might leave you. Your job, you might lose your job. You might start arguing with your parents or your siblings. Like these things can happen, and you can go, "Wow,
what's going
should
on?
I go back?" Because that's another thing. If your body's going to be going like, "See, I told you,
Yeah.
man.
Go
Should
back
have
to the old
should
familiar.
have never done this. Just go back, do what you were doing before, whatever that was." You were smoking cigarettes and drinking beer with them every night and going to the bar. Just go back to that. They liked you then, and keep it that way because everything will work out. Everything will stay the same, and that's the
Yes.
problem.
And we'll stay in survival mode.
And
That's what will happen.
yes, yes,
So
and you can share your fears with each other and how shitty the world is with each other, and talk about people and gossip.
at the same time, at the same
Sorry, man.
time, new energies will be revealed as far as you'll find out how resilient you are,
Yes,
how much you can come back. You're going to find out like how to set boundaries, and that's important. That's going to feel great. You're going to start believing in yourself, listening to your intuition.
yeah.
So yeah, it might start out, feels like this, but as you gain strength, you're just going to build and build and
Yeah, I also I also feel like you start your vibe really does raise, your frequency raises, and you feel like you're in a better mood. You actually just have more joy because you're being honest, you're being authentic to yourself.
yes.
And a part of your body, as much as some of your body's going to resist this and not like it, like your subconscious mind, there's another part of your body going like, thank God, this feels good to actually speak my truth.
I think it's the
And
heart.
yeah,
The
yeah,
heart.
the heart. There you go. Yeah, the heart is going like, yeah, now we're talking. You're on track now.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep at it. And so there is encouragement as well as some pushback, but it's definitely worth it. Definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, another reason you might feel like this is because you're being prepared for something better. You know, things will start to fall away, and that's not always a bad thing because new things will happen to you, things that are more aligned with the person that you're becoming
And who you were always meant to be.
and who you were always meant to be. So it might feel like things are going away, you're very lonely, but the truth is things will start to come back into your life that align with the person you've always meant to be.
And I feel like, too, you'll find new hobbies or new interests,
Yes.
or old hobbies will come back up. Like you might remember, hey, I used to like to draw when I was like 11, 10, 11. And you might start doing sketches again or painting or playing an instrument if you do that, or what, or something new. You might start
Yeah.
finding that you like to go on long walks. I like to go on long walks through nature. Maybe that's not something you ever did. Maybe
Yeah.
you want to go hiking. Maybe you want to mountain climb. Maybe you want to do, but all of a sudden you start getting these inclinations to like, yeah, maybe I should. That sounds interesting. Maybe you'll try yoga. You know what? That's something I want to do. I'm getting older now, and I want to keep flexibility. Well, actually, I'm not flexible at all. I want to gain flexibility because I really don't have a lot of that. And I had back surgery and shoulder surgery and stuff. So, but I would like to do yoga and gain some of that flexibility
Yeah.
back that I had when I was younger. That's just an example.
Me too.
And
Me too.
so,
I'd like to try a sound bath.
yeah,
There's so many things, especially being in Thailand. There's a lot of places, a lot of healing places around here that eventually we are going to visit.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I know I also started taking cold showers. I don't do it every single day, but ice baths are a big thing. Tony Robbins, a lot of these motivational speakers do that. And I've never taken an ice bath, but I do take a cold shower. And I'll tell you what, it raises your dopamine, your serotonin, and it puts you in a good mood. Once you get past that initial shock, it actually raises those levels for like an hour or two after you're even done. It totally changes your mood. And who would have thought getting in cold water would do that? I
Right.
mean, that's all. You
Right.
learn different things, you try different things, and you see what works for
Yeah.
you. As we said in the beginning, it may seem like your life is falling apart. So emotional turbulence is a normal part of the process.
Yeah.
Because you're resetting your nervous system, your emotions are fluctuating. Like I said, you're resetting your amygdala, which is where all the trauma is stored in your mind and in your body. And as you're going through this, you got to be patient with yourself because you're going to have tough moments, moments of being uncomfortable, moments of dealing with thoughts and emotions you'd really rather not deal with. And as I've said many times before, it's best to just let them rise up, take a look at them, give them a space in your mind and your heart, because those feelings are like your inner child looking for love, like those parts of yourself, the part that's fearful or angry or whatever. It needs to be like held like a child and accepted and loved. And that's, as you do that, it kind of gets what it was always looking for
Yeah.
and kind of dissipates and goes
Yeah.
and doesn't bother you as much. It's not to say you'll never feel those things, of course, but it's not as powerful and it doesn't throw you off
Right.
like it did.
Right. You'll also find opportunities will arise that trigger you. And this is probably going to bother you at first until you actually recognize it as an opportunity. Like every trigger is an opportunity for you to figure out why you're being triggered and to reframe, because usually it's a limited belief about yourself. So, yeah, things like that will show up so that you can learn about your limited belief and reframe that. And that's all a part of this, and it's completely normal.
Yeah, I can't think of his name right now. Maybe you will. He calls himself the Mind Architect. Peter Crone.
Peter Crown.
Peter Crone said, "Life will present you with people and circumstances that will force you to face the parts of yourself that you don't want to face." And
That's true.
I think there's truth in that. And I think especially once you get on this path of change and tapping into the unified field and all that, it really does start bringing up these things. And you're presented with situations. And some people say it's the universe testing you. Some people say it's your subconscious testing you to see if you really want to let go of that thing that you're telling your subconscious, I don't want to think like this anymore. I want to release this part. And it's almost like your subconscious will bring up situations to make you really make the choice.
Yeah. How serious are you?
Are you serious? You want to let this go for real? Because here's an opportunity. Or are you going to let this go? Or are you going to let it ruin your day? You're going to get all upset and act like you always did? Or are you going to do it, handle it differently?
Right. Right. Another thing is you're moving from fear to trust. Part of raising your vibration is realizing that everything is working out for your greatest good. That life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And I think the more you realize this and remind yourself, uh, I think the easier it becomes a little bit. I mean, as far as like, I know there was days when I was going through it, through some things, emotions would come up, not feeling myself. I would just try to remind myself that, this is temporary. These are stored emotions coming up and I'm releasing them. And I think that's helped me a lot to learn to trust the process, especially now because every time I go over a hurdle, I can feel that release of those emotions. So the longer you're going through this, I think the easier it is to trust the process.
Yeah, and you also mentioned how even when it doesn't look like things are working out.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because the circumstances of our life, the external world, what it's showing us is on a time delay from the momentum that we've already put out. We've been putting out fearful, negative, distrustful emotion for maybe 20, 30, 50 years.
Yeah.
So there's some momentum in that. Now, it's not to say it's going to last forever. It doesn't even have to last years or even months, probably. I don't know for sure. So we can't let those external 3D circumstances affect us and then go, oh, this isn't working. I'm just going to quit. Because nothing's changed yet. And I've been doing this, I don't know, a month or 6 months or something.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to feel the feelings in our body and think the positive thoughts in our mind. And I hate to even use the word positive, but envision your future. Get excited about the future and keep that in the forefront, no matter what you're seeing in the 3D world.
Right.
Make your imagination the most important thing to keep you feeling good, to keep you thinking on the right track, to keep your vibe up, your frequency up. We have to believe our imaginations in our inner world and our inner life more than we believe what we're seeing on the outside. Because until we change what's on the inside, nothing on the outside is going to change. We have to believe we're worthy. We really have to believe that. We have to believe things are working in our favor. We really have to believe that. We got to believe God loves us and wants us to have good things and to be the best version of ourselves. We have to believe those things. Are we going to have doubts? Of course. See, I don't want to make it sound like you got to be perfect because nobody is. But yeah, that has to be our dominant vibe.
Yes.
And I think that's really important, especially when things around you aren't looking like they're working out.
Right. I agree.
It's okay to grieve the old parts of you while you're becoming this new version of yourself. That's a natural process.
Yes.
But your life isn't falling apart. Things are actually getting better, and you will be so happy if you keep moving forward and release and let go of that survival mode and keep your mind set on the future and enjoying the peace and the success that awaits you.
Absolutely. It's exciting becoming someone that you were always meant to be.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you and spending time with us. We hope you have a great day.